I'll go. Okay, today I'm going to do a presentation on ownership and regulation in the TV industry in Ireland. Welcome. I'll discuss the main differences between working with public and private employers in the TV industry, and the public one I'll talk about is RTE and TV3 is the private. I'll compare kind of the pros and cons of each, what you can and can't do, and who owns them, who regulates it, and their rights. The BAI is the main regulator of broadcasting in Ireland. Their main functions are, they kind of make the rules for broadcasting, like what you can and can't do on TV, and stuff like that. And they license TV and radio services other than the public ones like RTE and TG4. And IFCO, the Irish Film Classification Office, they certify DVDs, Blu-rays, all that kind of media. Make sure everyone's grand there. And the IFB is a fund of funding bodies in Ireland. It's the Irish Film Board. And I'll talk about ownership. TV3 is one of the private sector companies, and in 2001 Grega purchased 45% share of the company, and 5 years later the group was sold to Doddy Hanson and Co. in 2015. And in 2015 Liberty Global wanted to buy TV3, and the approval of the purchase came through on October 2015 by the CCPC. And so pretty much Virgin owns TV3 and Liberty Global owns Virgin. And RTE is a statutory company, so it's owned by basically the state and the government. They run it. Now the public sector, we'll talk about this for a bit. Public sector is, a public sector company is one owned by the government. Its enterprises, agencies and bodies are all owned and run by the government. It could be main or just even a local section. The largest sector works to provide for the upliftment of people and is set up pretty much to generate employment, postal services, railways, security. And RTE is my public sector company I'm going to talk about in the TV industry specifically. And the private sector, we'll be talking about TV3. These are companies that are owned by an individual or a privately owned company. Businesses in the private sector are, the majority of the time, set up with the sole purpose of making profits, pretty much. They just want money. And they want to build brand reputation. And in terms of employees, it's the largest sector. In this sector, though, you're kind of hired based on your skills. So if you go in, you can't really work from nothing. You're kind of just hired if you're good. So there's not much job stability there, because if you mess up, you're gone. And unlike public, where you can sign a contract and you'll be there, and you'll start off and slowly make your way up. And the major private sector services will be telecommunication, IT, and courier, but I'm going to be talking about TV3. Union recognition pretty much means that your employer must negotiate with the union what's called collective bargaining, and that is where representatives elected by you and trained by the employer will negotiate your wages. And an employee has a right to join a trade union, however they can't insist that they recognise the union. The right to join is a personal one. Now here's some comparisons between public and private, side by side. RTE, their productions have a smaller budget, so like let's say Fair City wouldn't quite be on the same kind of level production-wise as Red Rock in terms of quality, and that kind of ties in with production values are lower. And they've kind of better employee rights and working conditions, and they're funded by governmental sections, TV licenses. They'll hire you built on your kind of experience, so you can go to them with kind of low, so that was kind of mixed. I mean, you can kind of go there with low experience and slowly build it up over the years, and the longer you're there, the kind of more money you make. It has benefits kind of like it has gym, restaurant, as kind of childcare, and every year you're entitled to 20-day annual leave, and it also recognises unions. TV3, the private sector, they have bigger budget productions, as the same like say Red Rock for an example, and they'll only hire you if you have good experience and work to kind of prove yourself in terms of what you're trying to sign up for. But they need to find funding themselves because they're obviously not funded by government. And probably one of the most popular ways of doing that nowadays is crowdsourcing, things like Kickstarter, all that kind of thing. And every year, for people who work 1,365 hours, are entitled to 4 weeks leave. But TV3 does not recognise unions as well. And the minimum rates I got for RTE, I found that experienced adult workers will get just the minimum wage. And if you're under 18 and working there, you get 70%, so you get $6.41 an hour. And TV3, there's kind of no set number for what they earn a year, but because your contracts are negotiable with your employer. And but I did find on the Glassdoor site that promotion assistant in TV3 is earns about 21,000 a year to 23,000, and a producer would earn about 40 to 50. Employment rights. Under the Safety, Welfare at Work Act 2005, employers have a duty to ensure employees' safety, health and welfare at work. Says it in the title. And in order to prevent the health, safety and welfare at work, employers must provide and maintain safe environments, so make sure there's no sharp things sticking out of machines. Make sure people aren't exposed to physical agents, or prevent the risks like noise and vibration, and proper conduct like bullying or horseplay, and provide health and safety training, like a training day. And as well, if you're if you're a builder, or if you're in, like, as a better example, if you're in a TV studio or something, you have to be provided protective gear if you're doing something that requires it, but it has to be at no cost to the employee. And you have to employ a competent person as the safety officer or manager in charge of whatever you're working on, let's say sets or something like that. And the public sector employees have more kind of concrete rights, I'd say. Where private sector employees, it's a bit more subject to change, but it's not quite as set in stone. And here's the conclusion: each sector is kind of ups and downs. If you're looking for job satisfaction, kind of private sector is more your thing. You can go out and just show them what you're made of, kind of get a job and make loads of money from the start. But if you mess up, you're out of there. And if you just kind of want it, if it's kind of safer, I'm putting it down. But kind of safer, kind of more reliable income job that you'd be kind of more comfortable in. But that would be public sector. And it requires less from people in terms of it, because it's not quite as a dog as the private sector. And you have less chance of being fired for little mistakes. And that's me. Thank you.